Good evening and welcome to Ville News. I'm Kyle Wagner alongside Sierra Bruce, here to give you the latest local, state, and national headlines.
Coming up, we have updates on a death at Epic Universe and President Donald Trump's new health claim. Stay tuned because Ville News starts now.
On September 17th, a man was found unresponsive after riding the dual-launch coaster Stardust Racers at Universal's newest theme park, Epic Universe. At approximately 9:20 p.m., the Orange County Sheriff's Office responded to the medical emergency where the 32-year-old man, Kevin Rodriguez Zavala, was found with a laceration and not breathing. The Florida resident was quickly transported to the hospital after the incident, where he was pronounced dead at 10:05 p.m. An autopsy was then conducted by the Orange County Sheriff's Office, where the medical examiner determined Zavala's cause of death was due to multiple blunt impact injuries, with the manner of death being ruled an accident. A statement from Universal Orlando was shared following the incident, with the company saying, quote, "We are devastated by this tragic event and extend our sincere sympathies to the guests' loved ones. We are fully cooperating with Orange County and the ongoing investigation." End quote. The ride remains closed as the investigation is still ongoing and may remain so for weeks or months.
At the memorial service for right-wing commentator Charlie Kirk, President Donald Trump announced that he would be revealing, quote, "the answer to autism," end quote. He held a press conference for it the next day alongside Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Medicare and Medicaid Chief Mehmet Oz. There, the administration made the bold claim that acetaminophen, commonly found in Tylenol, and analgesic, is responsible for autism when taken by pregnant women. Dozens of scientific bodies and researchers disputed the claim, while Tylenol's Ken Vu said, "We strongly disagree with any suggestion otherwise and are deeply concerned about the health risk and confusion this poses for expecting mothers and parents." Additionally, officials at the Food and Drug Administration labeled a medication known as leucovorin as an autism treatment, with approval of a tablet version being pushed after only a few trials. The conference was criticized by health experts and autism rights advocates, with the Autism Self-Advocacy Network describing the administration's rhetoric as, quote, "a crude yet plain endorsement of eugenics, demonstrating a callous lack of understanding of what autism is," end quote.
When we get back, updates on a Villanova priest working with Pope Leo XIV and the annual PA State March for Life. Ville News will be right back. The newly named Pope Leo XIV, formerly Robert Prevost, has still stayed in touch with connections he met over 2 decades ago at Villanova University. Father DiPrinzo, the Vice President of Campus Mission and Ministry at Villanova, was recently chosen by Pope Leo XIV as one of the 6 Assistants General for the Order of St. Augustine. Father DiPrinzo learned of the divine opportunity just a week ago in mid-September and described it as, quote, "very humbling, it still hasn't even sunk in. To be voted and chosen from your brothers to serve in this war is very humbling for sure," end quote. The papal friendship has gone back decades when Father DiPrinzo and Pope Leo XIV first met in 1999 and will now continue in Rome, Italy.
On September 22nd, abortion opponents gathered to rally at the state capitol in Harrisburg for the annual Pennsylvania March for Life. March for Life urges policymakers to place further restrictions or bans on abortion in the future. Organizers and Republican lawmakers participated in the gathering to influence elections this fall. This year's elections at the judicial level will also affect next year's governor and legislative races. President of the Pennsylvania Family Institute, Michael Geer, started that, quote, "Our voices need to be heard to encourage those who are considering abortion or think it's the answer to a question or a problem that it is not the answer," end quote. PA State Senator Judy Ward was also in attendance, stating, quote, "We have to do all that we can to protect life. That's why we march. That's why today matters," end quote. Abortion in Pennsylvania is currently legal up to 6 months.
When we get back, we'll have updates on officer deaths in York County and a local Rosie the Riveter. Ville News will be right back. On September 17, 2025, a deadly ambush occurred in North Cordis Township, resulting in 3 detectives killed and 2 crucially wounded. The day prior, a woman had reported that the gunman, Matthew J. Ruth of Hanover, was stalking her house in a nearby cornfield while dressed in camouflage attire. He was also suspected to be holding an AR-15 rifle with a suppressor when the Northern York County Regional Police Department could not find Ruth at his residence. 5 detectives and a deputy sheriff traveled to Ruth's reported ex-girlfriend's house. This is where he opened fire as the detectives opened the farmhouse's front door, striking 4 detectives immediately. A 5th detective and the sheriff deputy returned fire, which resulted in Ruth striking the sheriff deputy as Ruth ran towards the vehicles near the roadway. Both the 5th detective and the sheriff deputy were firing at him, which resulted in Ruth being killed. As of now, it has been reported that 3 detectives have been shot and killed, with a detective and the sheriff deputy critically wounded. These 3 detectives were identified as Detective Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser. Of the 3 detectives, Sergeant Cody Becker was an alum here at Millersville University. Dr. Daniel Wuba, the university president, released a message to the Millersville University community on September 19th, detailing that, quote, "Cody was a proud and active alum who was on campus for various homecoming events and wrestling matches," end quote. Dr. Wuba later signed off the message saying, quote, "We mourn the loss of Cody and extend our heartfelt condolences to his family and friends. Detective Sergeant Becker was a hero whose life was cut short by this tragedy. Keep those whose lives have been forever changed in your thoughts and prayers," end quote. A ceremony for law enforcement and invite guests was held at Livingwood Community Church on September 25th for the 3 detectives. The public funeral held for Detective Sergeant Becker took place on September 28th at Spring Grove High School.
Susan Taylor King, a 101-year-old Rosie the Riveter, will address the history group World War II oral at the Heritage Hotel in Lancaster on Monday, September 29th. Rosie the Riveter was a media icon associated with female defense workers during World War II. King was one of the original. She trained as an aircraft riveter and worked for Eastern Aircraft Co. of Baltimore, helping assemble military planes during World War II. King was one of an estimated 600,000 black women who went to work in war-related jobs in the 1940s. After the war, King studied education, earning bachelor's and master's degrees at Morgan State University, serving as a science teacher and counselor in Baltimore's public schools. Earlier this year, King joined other Rosies in receiving a Congressional Gold Medal and being honored in a ceremony at the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. She also got recognition for her wartime service from Maryland's Governor and General Assembly. King's presentation to the history group on September 29th is free and open to public, but donations are welcome.
That's all we have this week for Ville News. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next week for the latest local, state, and national headlines.